So I'm going to present my bachelor thesis defense in academic bachelor study program computer systems. My topic for bachelor thesis is digital transformation of the course system analysis and knowledge acquisition. Well, my name is Sai Shankar Reddy Bokka and my scientific supervisor is Professor Malita Kirikova. Here is a small outline which I'm going to speak for the next few minutes. I'm going to start with the introduction, which covers the topicality and goal and tasks of the thesis, and then the theoretical results of the literature analysis, comparison results, and then the scientific contribution towards the thesis, that is the suggested course digitalization guidelines, and then moving on to the practical contribution about the developed application guidelines into the study course and the student survey results, and providing a conclusion of overall thesis work. Well, the topicality of the thesis subject basically comes from my area of interest. I'm closely working in a Scandinavian company for an IT project in the future of higher education in collaboration with the Ministry of External Affairs. And in the context of thesis, I would like to say that digital transformation is more competitive in education. And by education, I mean many higher education institutes that are undergoing to fulfill new engagement and expectations in study process. So what I mean by this is digital transformation is not just providing something in Zoom or something in Microsoft, but perhaps to define a new study engaging process that can combine the classical way of learning and doing things. So the study programs of higher education institutes require guidelines in order to provide value-adding digital transformation. With this regards, the goal set for the bachelor thesis is to develop a guidelines that provides the course system analysis and knowledge acquisition, value-adding digital transformation. Furthermore, several tasks have been accomplished to achieve this goal. As you can see on the screen, the tasks are listed. It states that's to perform a literature analysis of different approaches and technologies that are used in education, and to compare these approaches and digital technologies using comparison attributes, and to provide the details of suggested guidelines and implement these into the course and validate the results by performing survey with the target group and give an overview with the conclusions. And here is a small picture which says how the work is distributed or organized in the thesis work. As you can see, a literature analysis of 2 different chapters of digital transformation in education and digital technologies that are used in education. With this as a basis is developed a proposed guidelines, and these guidelines is such applied to the study course, and then it is validated with the students' results. So from the literature analysis, various authors have used different terms such as digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. And performing this analysis, what I found to be that all these terms can be used as synonyms, and in which literally digital transformation means that the value-adding process of a digitally available data using the digital technologies for digital processing of information, where digital technologies play an important role. So a literature analysis is made to understand the approaches and digital technologies in digital transformation and how it can support in education, teaching, and learning processes. And from the analysis, it is found that various approaches, as you can see, which are mentioned, flipped classroom, personal learning network, remote classroom, virtual learning environment, and virtual laboratory are analyzed and compared. And it is also found that these can be grouped in these 3 categories, as you can see: on-site learning, remote learning with e-means, and blended learning. Simply a combination of these on-site and remote learning with e-means. So furthermore, to apply these approaches, it requires digital technologies for digital processing of information. Hence, the digital technologies that are used in education were also identified from the literature. So what I mean by used in education, so this means that these digital technologies can live independently on their own without in education. So education is using this as in teaching and learning forms. So the study identified from the literature the following digital technologies such as blogs, forums, multimedia recordings, social networks, video conferences, and wikis. Since all these terms are quite overlapping, it was absolutely necessary to compare these to understand which is more preferable for using in digitalization. Hence, a comparison is carried out using the comparison attributes, as you can see on the screen, and the results of comparison attributes from the approaches say that there is no one particular approach that can fully digitalize the course. But depending on the content of the course, the approaches can be selected. And from this thesis work, it is found that one of the possibility is by combination of these approaches. For instance, combination of a flipped classroom and remote classroom, and such. And results of comparison of digital technologies is also performed, during which it is I've come to a conclusion that all the digital technologies mentioned in the thesis can be accessed using PCs, mobiles, and etc. And to integrate these digital technologies, it must support users, accessibility, and maintenance. So what I mean by users are the people who are involved in this study process, for example, the teachers and the students. So perhaps the comparison attributes which you can see on the screen are less, but I believe that from the literature analysis, these are found to be the major issues that are addressed in many papers which I have used for this work. So these are used to compare and understand which is used for more preferable situations. So with this as a basis, a guidelines is established, as you can see on the screen, which is expressed in a text form. A 10-step guideline is expressed, where the first step says to gather information and organize. So what I mean by this is gather the information of the course that is undergoing digital transformation and organize by building a conceptual model and prioritize the content, meaning which topic to deliver when, and then make a topic analysis, by which I mean how the topics are distributed over the semester and how much time it really takes to deliver, and then represent the course delivery strategy, meaning how this topic can be taught. For instance, there is a course of physics, then it requires laboratory to teach, then there is a course of Saka, which requires presentations and such things. And then you take this selection, which I will demonstrate in the next picture, which shows a possibility of list of approaches and tools that are identified from this thesis. And then you choose which is more suitable for this and define a goal for the selected approaches and digital technologies. The value adding reachability assessment can be done in step 8. Basically, it is such we are reaching the goal, like what is the extra added value getting from this digital transformation. So basically, there are some criteria to use, and there is a condition such that it should allow the digital interaction between teacher and student, and opportunity to learn outside of the classroom and such things. And then you integrate this and validate this by performing a survey analysis with the students of the target group SACA. So the possible guidelines which I have explained are represented in business process model diagram, as you can see on the screen. And it's quite big. Maybe if someone needs, I can zoom in and zoom in and zoom out. So the possible guidelines are also expressed as such in a data schema, as you can see. And the elements, the components of this which are used are behind the process from business process model. And in future, this process can be supported by corresponding information technology solutions. And the application of the developed guidelines into the study course SACA is made. And during this, the step 1, that the information sources were gathered along with the course description of the course, and a conceptual model is built and prioritized, as you can see on the screen. And then the topic analysis is made to understand how the topic content is divided over the semester, and choosing the strategies. As you can see, let me point out my screen. Here are the activities of the steps that are expressed in business process model diagram of the application of guidelines. And in step 6, the selections are analyzed such that the approaches and digital technologies support the teaching and learning. What I mean by this is, from the selection analysis and the topic analysis, it is found that the course requires class assignments and home assignments, which are to be done in group and individual. So the approaches and the technologies are selected as such, they support these things and given additional added value, which is defined in step 7 as a goal. And in step 8, the goal reachability assessment for the selection is made such that they fit into the course. And as you can see here, and in step 9, this gives a possibility to integrate the approaches and digital technologies into the study course. And the validation is made in step 10, and a survey analysis is performed, and a questionnaire is developed by the author of bachelor thesis. And moving to the validation part. So basically, the validation is such done to really check these guidelines are workable, and to check that the proposed guidelines as such provides a useful result or not. So the target group chosen here are the students of the course system analysis of knowledge acquisition of the present semester. And the criteria or the reason why they have been chosen is such, taking into the account the knowledge that they already have in the course. So what I mean by this is that they've already explored the theoretical content in the course, And these will be more experts to use in this survey. And here, as you can see, the choice of options that are identified from the literature and developed from the guidelines are mentioned, which are used as an options for students to select. And here you can see the survey results, and the survey is given to the students, and after the survey it is analyzed that majority of the students choose a combination of approaches for the topic delivery and digital technologies such as multimedia recordings and social networks. Perhaps I'm representing only one picture of the topic, but there are several 11 topics in the course. So there are such 11 such pictures again, and during which a common pattern is observed. The common pattern, what I mean is the combination of approaches and multimedia recordings and video conferences are selected as the most desired option by the students, which is in fact, again, like what is imagined by the author to develop in the course. So hence from the survey, it concludes that the proposed guidelines are such workable to the course and they provide a useful result. So here is an survey results of the topic by topic, as you can see, which is also known as in the fancy words, the new outlook of the course is obtained, and each topic and the mode of approach and the digital technologies it can take. And so the thesis results achieved overall are from the theoretical results. I could conclude that the literature analysis and comparison of different approaches and digital technologies is made that are used and support in education, and a course digitalization guidelines is provided. And from the practical results, I would like to say that the support use of guidelines into the study course is made, and demonstration of this application of this study course, system analysis and knowledge acquisition is also shown. So to conclude from the bachelor thesis overall, guidelines is developed in this thesis, and the guidelines is such applicable to study courses, and it gives an opportunity to digitalize the course and choose a digitalized approach. So this thesis works gives an opportunity to choose list of approaches and digital technologies that are studied, identified, and compared in this thesis, which can support to the course SACA. And these topics are digitalized, and then as a whole, the course could also like digitalized. And the developed guidelines also give a possibility that the list can be extended further. It means when there are new topics or approaches, they can be added and to with what is offered. Therefore, from the results of the thesis and validation part and from the guidelines, it is possible that possible modification of the teaching and learning process can be done. It is by combination of approaches and the new opportunities of value added, that is the opportunities to learn outside of the classroom, new engagements with the teacher and students in terms of collaboration, communication, and sharing. And further, the thesis work can be extended as follows, as shown, to analyze the success rates using of the approaches one on another, to test the total time taken by the topics and the content delivery, and to calculate the group and individual time taken by the students to acquire the new content in this course. And further, this can be extended in a master thesis as well. So with this, I would like to terminate my presentation, and thank you all for your attention, and I'm open for the questions.